Hello Flosstube. Today is Sunday the 15th of June 2025 and this is Flosstube number 42. I'm Lindsay, Cheshire Stitcher, both here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. Mostly it's about cross stitch, but I do share other crafts sometimes, usually my beading, which I have got today. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, it's great to see you again, and a very warm welcome if you are one of the 19 new subscribers I've had since my last video. It's lovely to have you here. If you are new and you haven't done so already, I would very much appreciate it if you could like this video and any other videos that you may have watched of mine. Maybe even hit that subscribe button. Right, admin bit done. Say 15th of June, so happy Father's Day to all those dads out there. I sadly no longer celebrate it, but there we go. I tend to try and avoid the shops in the run up to Mother's Day and the run up to Father's Day because it's just everywhere. And when you don't have either parent anymore, it's a bit upsetting. It's getting easier, but still. Today I have got no finishes, I've got no FFOs, but I have got 2 new starts. I've got some PhDs, which if you are new here, I don't refer to my projects as whips, I call them PhDs, which is a potential happy dance, because we all do happy dance when we finish something. And if you're wondering, I'm looking down because my notes are down here in front of me on the table as ever. So I've got my bit of beading to show you. You know what? I've got my other little crafty project that I've done. I've got my giveaway results for reaching 700 subscribers, and I have some, stash enhancement. Not huge amounts. Some of it I forgot last time. So there we go. So we'll get going then, shall we? So my first new start, I showed you this in my last video as a purchase. It's the snowman mantle from Bent Creek. I bought this at Create Nostalgia when I was on the Wrexham retreat after coveting it for quite some time, and then I made a start on it, and here we go. Here's how far I've gotten. I've discovered that I can't work on it for too long, otherwise it makes my finger sore, and if you were paying attention to the picture, you'll see he's the wrong colour. Because I had to enlarge the first chart, because the first chart has the mantle shelf all the way along, so it's quite small. I enlarged it and misread the symbol, so I need to frog that bird. So I would say I'm maybe halfway done. Move that out of the way. It stitches up really quickly, to be fair. It's 20 count, whatever it, I don't know, 20 count something. It probably tells me in the kit and I didn't check. And it uses pearl cottons, just DMC pearl cottons, so it grows quite quickly. But like I say, I can't do too much, and I tend to try and do it at the end of the day because it makes my finger swollen and sore. My finger for you. My other new start, and I will go into more detail with this on when we get to stash enhancement, is this. Gecko Rouge, the bee from Lorna Lane, one of their most popular designs. Again, something I've coveted for quite a while. And as I said, I will fill you in more detail. And that's how far I've gotten. Not very far at all. I started it last weekend when I went on my annual weekend away with friends, and started it on the Friday night and then lent this frame out to one of the other girls that was doing something, so I didn't get to work on it again for the weekend. That's okay. And there's a matching needle minder to go with it. So as I say, I'll fill you in more detail on that when I get to stash enhancement. So let's go on to my PhDs. While I'm thinking about it, because I've turned my paper over and it's written at the top, I had a question about that dragon. There, that one. I beaded him in 2023 and I was asked what the pattern was. And it's simply called Dragon, and it's from Shop Alexa Creations on Etsy. There's two versions. One is a brick stitch one where you just do the dragon. The other one is the peyote where you do the background. Well, I chose to do the peyote because if I'd just done the back stitch for the dragon, I'd never have finished him. But I will link the shop down below. So PhDs in no particular order. It's just as I have grabbed them. And I'll let you know as I'm going through them whether it's a temperature project or it's an Uno project or if it's just a plain PhD. So my first one is this Morning Coffee by Stitch Rovia. This is one of my temperature stitches. It's only come out the once so far. Well, no, it's come out 3 times, but I've only managed to stitch on it once. I need to pay a little bit of catch up because I've been busy this week with various things, so I'm a little bit behind, and that's fine. It won't take me long. I aim for about 100 stitches. If it's a bit less, it's a bit less. If it's a bit more, it's a bit more. So that's that. Last time you saw it, no, it's not that one. It looked like this. There we go. I made a start on it and that was as far as I'd gotten. And now, get off. That way around. It looks like this. So the first time it came out, to say it's got a little bit more to be done on it. I just haven't had the chance. I finished off the word broken. So there we go. It's like one of my temperature ones. It's been called 3 times now, but I've only managed the once. But I will get that done. It's on the cards for today, in all fairness, once I've finished my Uno project for the day. Don't know why I put that down there. I need to put it back in. Hey, I'm doing well. I remembered my board today. Not like me. But I did forget to grab something else. Bear with, 2 secs. Oh. Last time, just taking a break from the PhDs for a second. Last time round, you may remember, I was talking about my stash acquisition, and I mentioned my friend Kate. Realised I'd forgotten something. The giraffe. Well, I'm showing him again this time, just in case anybody had left and not watched the stash enhancement, because he's too lovely not to share. She arrived at Cheshire Stitcher's Day on the 24th of May with him. She said, I've got something for you, and plonked this on the table in front of me. He's her first attempt at an animal, and I absolutely adore him. He's so soft. He's lovely. And all she could say was, well, he's not very good. He's got holes in him, and there's this and there's that. And I'm going, I don't care. You made him for me. I love him. So, yeah, he sits on my beading chair when I'm not sat on my beading chair. And I love him. He's so sweet. But he needs a name. So if you've got a suggestion for a name, let me know. There we go. Right, back to the PhDs, which, as I said, potential happy dances. Let me get a pen, because they're all jumbled up. So I'm going to cross them off as I mention them. So we've done that one. So the next one in the pile is this one. This is Goose from Stacey Nash. I'd met up with Sally from Flossy Sews and Grows and Elaine from Ellie Stitcher at Abercam Fabrics, good 6 weeks or so ago now. And while we were chatting over lunch, we discovered we all had a Stacey Nash. So we all decided that we were going to start it at Cheshire Stitchers last month, which if the ones of us that were there did, and Elaine started hers. We went with a hashtag of Cheshire Cracker. It might be Cheshire Cracker Sal. Rain like a sieve, didn't write it down as ever. And so we all made a start. A few other members joined in with us, and one of them, Sue, has finished her first one. And the general idea is, as we finish them, we're going to swap charts so that we all end up with quite a nice little collection. And they're all obviously going to turn out slightly differently because we're using different fabrics. So they're all going to be ever so slightly different. So anyway, so I went for Goose, Giraffe, obviously. So last time you saw it, it looked like, no, it didn't look like that. It didn't look like that either. It looked like this. So I'd made a start and done both the bottom of his neck, and I was starting across the top of his face. And here he is. Yeah. So we got a little bit of love on Friday evening, and then yesterday whilst we were at Cheshire Stitchers. And the way I've done it, I got fed up of doing the main brown colour and wanted to change. So I filled in some of the white on Friday night, and then was doing the brown yesterday and wanted to change, so started on the black. But it kind of reminds me, because of the way I've done it, it looks a bit like a snake at the moment because I haven't filled those colours in. But I'm loving him, absolutely loving him. My fabric is 35 count weeks linen in linen, and I'm using all the called for weeks dye works. And I've got ring bling of a giraffe that Jeanette gave me. She did a special order. And I've also got the giraffe needle minder on him, as you will have noticed, hopefully. You're probably all like me, and you're sitting there listening to me waffle, and then you'll look up when I say, this is what it looks like now. If you're anything like me, because that's what I do. I sit and stitch and just look up when there's something I need to look at. He's just a plain bog standard PhD. Next, we'll go with my Love Quilt Square. It's not that picture. Where are you? Come on. Oh, don't tell me I've deleted it. Yeah. Silly girl. Bear with me, because I have obviously deleted the correct picture. Let me find it. Come on, come on. Tell you, it's one of those, if I had a brain I'd be dangerous. No. Oh well, never mind. I don't have a finished picture of him. So we'll just go with what he looks like now, shall we? Here we go. He is one of my Uno projects. He's number 4, if I remember correctly. So he's had a fair bit of work done on it. Well, them, because there's 2. I've got the window open, and that's an idiot with a motorbike going up the main road. Yeah, the main road, which is, you know, 150 yards that way behind me. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I work on this on a Monday when I'm with the boys. I always take my love quilt with me. So I have been doing that, but he's come out a few times for the Uno. Sometimes he's had 100 stitches in a day, sometimes he's had 200 because of the way the Uno works. It's a game with semi-sane stitchers on Facebook. I have to say it like that, otherwise I muck it up. So today's draw was, you could pick your own project, but you had to do 200 stitches, so I'm working on my class project for that. Some days, if an Uno card is called, you have to do 100 stitches on all 4 projects within 24 hours. Some days you get a reverse, which means you go back 2 projects and do 200 stitches. So there's various things. But anyway, he's been out a fair few times along with the Mondays with the boys. So we can cross that one off. Next we have one of my other Uno projects. Did I not put one on? Yeah. Which is the scissor pocket, my usual disorganized self. That one there, I've already done the pin cube, so I'm working on the scissor case. So I got my partner to pick, and that's the one he chose. Last time you saw it at the start of the month, it looked like that. And this one has been called quite a lot. So next time you see it, if it carries on the way it's going, it will be finished. It now looks like this. So I've completely finished the 1/2 of it. In the original pattern, there's 3 buttons along here. I'm very strange. I don't like buttons as decoration. If it's part of a garment, that's absolutely fine, but as decorations, no. So I chose to do the barge yellow again. So I'm working away on the back of it. All I've got left to do is the barge yellow and this, can you see, I don't know if you can see it, that very thin yellow line all the way around the edge, which will join it together, and then the scissor case will be done. We are allowed to substitute projects if you finish something, which is good because this is going to get finished. So, as I say, that's another Uno project. So I can cross that off my list. Come on. Next is my stitch along with Jeanette. Let's put it the right way up. Which is Sunflowers Farm from Corey E. Batakori. We do this as and when. We weren't just doing weekends, but just lately we've both been really busy at weekends and we haven't managed to work on it at all. So this week we managed Thursday? I think it was Thursday. But even so, I didn't get much done on it because I had other stuff to get done, and by the time I managed to settle down to stitch, it was getting quite late, so we only did a few hours. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. I suddenly remembered once I'd put it in the hoop that I hadn't taken a picture. That's why it's in its hoop. And to say, I didn't get much done on it. And as ever, we have a hanging thread, because as you know, I put it down when I put it down. If it's got a hanging thread, it's got a hanging thread. Doesn't bother me, it's my stitching. So here we are now. So I finished the bird. I've got a little bit more to do in his hat. I've done the white. No, I've not done the white. So I've got the band of his hat to do, but everything else is done on the bird, and I started on the farm. I am approaching the top corner of it, so maybe next time we get to work on it, which will hopefully be this coming week. This week's not so busy for me. We should hopefully get a day, maybe even 2 on it. So that's that one. Another one that came out for temperature stitching was this one. French Country Snowman. He's only come out once so far for, bear with, didn't cross that off my list. Yeah. It's only come out once for temperature stitching. If you're wondering, temperature stitching, you assign 9 projects from 0 to, no, 10 projects from 0 to 9. And whatever the high temperature is, I use the BBC weather app. I always have a look in the morning. So if it's 20 degrees, you go with the 0. If it's 27, you go with the 7. Around about 100 stitches, sometimes more, sometimes less. So he's been out once for the temperature stitching. Last time you saw him, he looked like that. And as I've said before, this project contains a couple of firsts for me. It's that way off, I think. Yeah, there we go. So one first for this project is the fabric. It's a 36 count. It's prehistoric from Fox and Rabbit. I've never worked on a Fox and Rabbit fabric before, so that's one first for me. And my second first is I'm using a sulky variegated. Again, I've used sulky lots, but it's the first time I'd used a variegated. So that's how we are now. I'm hoping that I get more chances to work on him. I would like to get some of my projects done. I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed. I've never really bothered in the past, but I am a little bit at the minute. Next up we have Hendrika. Now I completely forgot to take a picture, so I had to play my last video and take a screenshot. Last time you saw her, she looked like that. I do not have a completed picture of her. I never printed one out, and now she's no longer on the website. She was last year's summer stitch along from Sew ID. They are doing another one that starts on 28th, so I haven't decided if I want to do that one or not. If I get something finished, I might. Otherwise I'll just save the parts and start it when I feel like it. I'm using 35 count weeks tin roof. that I bought from Sally, Flossy Sews and Grows, last year. This was one of my March Whip Go projects. I'd worked on it at the Wrexham retreat and managed 300 stitches. Well, I kept making mistakes, so I didn't manage the other 200, but I pulled it out, and there we go. So I finished this urn here. I've done the centre of that flower because I'd done the outer. I've done this little dog. I think it's supposed to be a dog. I've done that, which to me looks like a mortar and pestle, and I finished the thread off on the border, and then I've made a start on this next motif here. So that makes my March Whip Go projects complete. Yes, I know I'm behind, but if you've been watching me for a while, I had the commission. If you haven't been watching me for a while, I had a commission project, and that took up almost all my stitching time for 21 months. So I can cross that off. Next, again, I forgot to take a picture. Store it in this bag that I made myself, and I went on a trip to Chester Zoo, bought a key ring of a giraffe, didn't know what to do with it. Then it suddenly occurred to me I could put it on a project bag, and this was the one it ended up on. Is gathering honey. This is my first project ever on 45 count linen. I'm using a Dinky Dye silk, number 113. Yeah, 113 Cobar. And it literally just says 45 count linen in ivory. I forgot to take a picture of it last time before I worked on it. I've only done a little bit on it, but it still counts. So again, this morning I had to watch my video, took a screenshot from last time. So that's what it looked like, and now it looks like this. So literally all I have done since you last saw it is finish off the circle in the B-skep and then come back down to finish the border down to the bottom. I'm limited as to when I can work on this. I need some magnification, so if I'm not in the right frame of mind when I've beaded in the morning, because I sit at my beading desk and work on it under the magnifier. So I have this vague idea of finding some more of it and doing the whole set the same size. Why not? So if anybody knows where I can get 45 count Italian linen in ivory, please do let me know. Cross that one off. We're getting there, slowly but surely we're getting there. That one is just a plain PhD, it's not a temperature or anything. Although I do think I've put it on my Whip Go board. In which case it'll take me an entire month to do my 500 stitches, but that's okay. Next we have, where are you? Come on, there we go. One of my temperature projects. This is also one of my 25 in 25. And I didn't check what number. It's about number 3, I think, number 4. Spring cotton and twine box from March 2023. So it came out, it's come out once, so it's had about 100 stitches added to it. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. I think it's on my list of ones to catch up on again. So you should see it next time. Speaking of which, next time should be the 27th, Friday the 27th. I would record it on the Sunday, but my partner's off. Kind of puts a crimp in things. So, here it is now. So, I finished off this bit of the chicken. And then I've done this pale green and started it down here. Surprising how quickly you can do 100 stitches even if you are stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. But as I say, I'm pretty sure this is on the list of one to catch up on. So that's that. Next we have my last Mania start for this year, but I also have it on my temperature stitching and I have it on my Uno board, so it's had a fair bit of progress on it. It's this one, it's Dinky Dye's The Dreaming. Copyrighted 2006, so I probably had it pretty much when it came out, and it just sat there and sat there. I was looking through my folder for something else, spotted this, already had the silks, so I thought, right, I'm doing that. So last time you saw it, I'd literally only just started it, and if you remember, I said there was a mistake on the chart. Well, I found another mistake on the chart. Well, that's fine. So last time you saw it, it looked like that. But as I say, I've got it for temperature and I've got it for Uno. Some days it comes out for both, so I only do the 100 stitches and call them both quits. I know I probably shouldn't, but there we go. I'm using the code for Dinky Dye Silks, which is Aussie Jewels, number 97, and Pacific Ocean, which is number 93. Dinky Dye Silks, if you've never worked with them, oh, they are dreamy, they are lovely. They go through no problem. Anyway, so here we are now. So it's had several outings for the Uno on semi-seine, and it's had a few outings for, that was my phone, for the temperature stitching. This one has been the one that has come out the most, or has had the most progress on it because of the Uno. It seems virtually every single day. We have yet to have project number 2 called, which is my class project, which I'll get to in a minute. So there we go, that's how it is. I did fix the one here, where there was the mistake that I had to undo because the chart said 7 and all the other ones were 8. So I frogged that and got that restitched. Another mistake is these bits. One of them has 6 on the chart, but they're all, everyone else is 5. So I am enjoying it. I'm doing it on 36 count something. It just says 36 count linen on the bag, and I'm choosing to do 2/2 on this one because I like the fuller, more vibrant colour. Everybody's different, and that's what I like on this one. Last weekend I went away, my annual weekend away with a group of friends. We've been doing it for, this was the 19th year, or year 19. We missed one for COVID, and the only other one I've missed was when my daughter had her UK wedding reception in 2019. I couldn't say to my daughter, no, you can't have your wedding that weekend because, well, UK wedding reception that weekend because it's my weekend away. Can't do that. So, excuse me. So this is one of my April Whip Go projects. It's Peacock Cipher from Just Nan. I started it, I dug it out. Got a piece of paper in here with it on. There we go. Started it on the 29th of January 2018 with the silk pack. I was gifted the silk pack quite a long time ago from my floss mum, or I had a floss mum. We're not in touch anymore, and she was allergic to the silk, so she sent me the silk pack because I already had the chart. So I took this with me last weekend and sat and did it on Sunday, I think it was. So last time you saw it will have been in my PhD parade at the start of the year, and it looked like that. Thoroughly enjoyed working on it. My aim is 500 stitches for Whip Go projects. This one got 497. That's close enough for me. Fabric is an oddment from Sparkly's box that she has at shows, so I have absolutely no idea what it's called, and here we are now. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, it's one of them projects that I put it on my Whip Go board to see some progress on it, and I'm like, why am I not working on this with regularity, with any regularity? Because I thoroughly enjoyed it. So there we go. As I say, I am using the silks. There we go. That's all the silks for it. If I ever manage to work out what the cipher says, I'll let you know. I've never tried to do a cipher, so I have absolutely no idea what to do to work one out. And if I don't put it all back in the very snazzy bag, basically it's the bag the chart came in. I never thought about such things at the time. I was doing nice fabric bags for things. So, like I say, if I don't put it all back in, it'll all end up in a right mess, which is not good. I mean, you already have. If you don't record videos, you've no idea how much work it takes to gather everything up, and then you have to put it all away, and so it ends up as a bit of a mess. So I can cross you off. I'm not entirely sure what my next April Whip Go is. I think it's one of my TWs. I put them on there and prayed that they both didn't come out in 1 month. So, as I say, that's a Whip Go. We've only got a couple left. This one came out one day last week. This is my dragon. It's on my temperature stitching. I took this to Wrexham with me to work on, to support Lynn, Lancashire Stitcher, with her Dragon Stitch for Dragon Stitch for Mum Sal. After the comment that she received a while ago. So he's only had one outing and got 100 stitches added to him. So last time you saw him, he looked like that. You can't really tell much difference. it's there. It's definitely there. So that was him last time you saw him. And here he is now. So basically I just filled in a lot of gaps on his claw. So there we go. I've had this kit goodness knows how long. I will check back and see if I can remember, well, no, not remember, find the correct book from when I started him, and then I can let you know. But there he is. Yeah, feel free to join in the stitch along for Lynn's mum. I'm sure she'd be quite happy to have you. And then lastly, and I've been working on this morning, so it's still in its hoop and I've still got work to do on it, is, no, it's not that one. Not that one. I'll get the right picture in a minute, that one. Might not be that one. Never mind. This is the class project for the Peakside Heartstring Samplery Weekend, which is 5th and 6th of July. Again, I've put this on my Uno board and it's not coming out. This is project number 2 and it's just not coming out. So today was one where you pick your own project and do 200 stitches. So I picked this one because, like I say, it's just not coming out. Hopefully that would be very nice, but there we go. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. The picture's not very good because it's a photocopy of a photocopy. Last time you saw it, I think it's that picture, but I could be wrong. And it has been out a couple of times. Like I say, today is a pick. So I've been working on it this morning and I will be working on it again once I've finished recording and had some lunch. So there we go. The fabric is 36 count Cafe au lait from Fibre on a Whim. One of the other girls that's going on the class had hers with her yesterday. She's finished this, which is the box top. I do apologise if you can hear the washing machine. I did close the kitchen door so it didn't bleep so loud, but it's just letting me know it's finished. I have made a mistake with this, as in we are using one thread over 2 weeks dye works. That's the colours for it all. And I picked it up one day. I was doing the Uno, which was basically you work on every project, and because I'm doing 2 strands on Dreaming, I did this bird in 2 strands, and I decided, and I didn't realise I'd done that till I was virtually finished with the bird, so I decided I was leaving it in. I didn't want to frog it out. So there we go. You can tell that's the one with the 2 strands, that's the one over 2 that it's supposed to be. It's a personalisation. My excuse. And I'm sticking to it. And that brings me to the end of the PhDs. So, I'll say I'll be going back to the class project. You'll certainly see the Uno projects, and you'll see, I don't know how many temperature stitches in a fortnight, and hopefully we'll see some other stuff as well. So next we'll do my beading, which, no, I've been doing this for a while now. You've seen this a fair few times. That stacking boxes from Julia Prattle, stacking tree I should say, not boxes. You could use them as boxes if you wanted to. So that's what I've been working on. Last time you saw it, I had just done the base. Well, I've started working my way up the sides. I haven't been beading very much again. You know, it was only a few days ago that I actually started to bead again. I hadn't done anything for a long time. So, there we go. It's coming on. And then the other thing that I've made is this. My daughter asked me if I could make these for the boys for their seatbelts. So it's literally just a seatbelt cover. This is the first one I've made. It does fit round the seatbelt, but it's a slidey, it's a little loose. So I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to move the hook and loop tape in, because it's not Velcro, it's the hook and loop tape. It's the generic stuff. So I need to move that in a little bit so it's not as loose on the seatbelt. So I took loads of fabrics and they both requested Batman. So I've got one more to do. It's all cut out. I just need to go and stitch it together. So that's that done. So next we'll do the giveaway. As I said, I did a giveaway in my last video for 2 charts, because I'd reached my 700 subscribers. First one I was giving away was this, which is the cotton and twine January design from this year that I've stitched. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolutely loved every single stitch of it. So the winner of this one is, and I'm pretty sure if I remember rightly, this is the lady that said to use a sharp needle. It's Sharon Littlefield 9217. So I did the pick this morning. And I thought, I'll screenshot it. Because otherwise I'd have to write it down and I'd struggle to read my writing, which I do sometimes. And then the other one I was giving away was the chart for silver and gold, which was the limited edition Bank Creek kit. That was one of my 25 in 25, and I finished it earlier this year. And the winner of that one is Multiple Lanes Creative Brain. So there you go. Congratulations to you both. If you can send me an email to cheshirestitcher@gmail.com, it will be in the box, and then I can get them sent out to you. I'm not sure when, but it should be this week. Little general quick update life-wise. I went to the dentist on Tuesday, and my wisdom tooth here has to be removed because it's broken and it's all the way down to the root. Luckily, at the moment, it is not giving me any pain, and I have an odd day where it throbs a bit. And while she was there, it's either the tooth next to it or the next door but one neighbour is dead. Again, it's not giving me any trouble. But she showed me the x-ray and she said, well, we could do a root canal on it, but it's unlikely to succeed because it's like that at the end. The end is bent over 90 degrees. Very tip of it is 90, so it wouldn't work because it's not a straight tooth. So we're just going to see how that goes. If it doesn't bother me, she's not going to do anything about it, which I can't blame her for. That's absolutely fine. That's it really, life-wise. There's not a lot otherwise going on. Another reason I can't record on the Sunday the 30th, 29th. I think that's the weekend my partner's brother's coming up to do some work on Daisy, which is the car. She needs a timing belt done. That's it. There's not a lot going on, really. Nothing happens. Nothing really happens around here. So we'll move on to stash enhancement. First of all, I forgot these last time, so I haven't actually bought these this time. I forgot to show them to you. I bought the the PDF chart for that, cross stitch patterns 1T on Etsy, and I kept looking at it and thinking, that looks familiar. And when we saw it framed at the Nimble Thimble, again I was looking at it thinking, that looks familiar. Yeah, that's because 2 of my friends have already stitched it, so that's why it looks so familiar. Lynn Lancashire Stitcher also bought this one, and I don't know if it's still going on, but Michelle, Mama Loves You GB, released some new charts, and if you bought 2 you save 20%, so I bought 2. I was always going to buy this one, Emma Goldthorpe 1811, because she's giving 10% of each chart of the profits from this chart. So, you know, after she's taken off the eBay, Etsy fees and things, she's going to give 10% of the profits to the Samaritans. So I was always going to buy this one because a very long time ago, I had reason to call the Samaritans. Oh, please don't think I was suicidal, because I wasn't. There was something bothering me and I needed to talk to somebody that didn't know me, wouldn't make a judgment, so I rang the Samaritans. So I will always support the Samaritans. So, and it's a red marking sampler. I like a red marking sampler. I much prefer one of these to a sampler with a house or something on. So I bought that one. And then the other one that I bought that I'd actually been waiting, I thought I'd buy the 2 when Emma came out, or I'd wait for a sale, was one of her other recent releases, the HS Miniature Spring Sampler. My printer's starting to run out of ink, hence the lines. I think Emma was the first one I printed, so she's printed out the best. The other ones have gone downhill a bit. So that, yeah, I liked that. Really, really liked that. So I bought that one as well. And as I say, I bought them before my last video. Completely forgot, because I don't normally show you PDF charts that I bought. But when Lynn showed that one, I sat there and thought, oh, fudge, I forgot about that. So, as I say, those are ones from last time. So I said I would tell you a little bit more about this. Now, as I say, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I had a big commission piece. And I've been looking at this kit on and off for a while, because you can only buy Gecko Rouges as kits. And I'd been umming and ahhing and umming and ahhing, and I'd finished it the day before I met Elaine and Sally at Abercan. Mentioned that, you know, once I get paid for the commission, I might treat myself to this, and they're both going, go for it if you've been looking for it for a while, or looking at it for a while. So I did. I gave in and I bought it. It arrived half an hour before I was due to leave for the weekend with friends last weekend. So as I say, you can only buy them as a kit. I opted for it in a plastic bag. You can have a gift box, extra cost. You can have extra needles. I don't need extra needles. I don't need a random needle minder, but I did get the matching one. So this is my first Gecko Rouge kit. So this is all my threads for this. And there are a lot. But as you can see, I've only done a little bit of the black. And I've buried it under all the projects. Bear with me a second. There we go. That's the right way up. So I went for the 28 count 1/1. There's lots of different versions. You can go for Ada ones, you can go for 25 count, I think it was a 32 count, but I went for the 28/1. That's as far as I've done, and as I said, I got the matching needle minder, and I showed you that before. I've never worked on green fabric before, so that's a bit of a learning curve for me. But yeah, this was my treat to myself for finishing the commission project. And I think that's one reason I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed with the amount of projects I've got, because I've got 2 full coverages now, having gone from never having bought one before in my life. So last weekend I went to my annual weekend. We stay in a little place it's called Dove Farm. It's in Elliston in Derbyshire, and on the Saturday Kate from Sparklers and I tend to go into Lichfield and we go to Spellbound. So we went off. I had my list of delicas that I needed to replenish. You don't really need to see delica beads, you know what they look like. You don't, you know, mostly green and gold and a brown. But they had a sale on Christmas kits ready for Christmas in July, so I bought some. The one I really wanted, they didn't have in stock because they were out of stock of one of the colours, so they didn't have the kit in stock. That's fine. There's plenty of time for me to buy it. So I got the Minerva Star. No, not the Minerva. The Minster Star. And I got it in this colourway, the sort of silver and crystal. There are other versions. Kate bought the tealy blue one, I think it was she bought. I like this colourway. I tend to always buy this colourway. So that was one that I bought while I was there. I also bought the Scandi Snowflake. There are a few other ones in the range. There's a reindeer one. I think there's a tree. Well, this is the one that spoke to me most. I like snowflakes. This is done in square stitch. My favourite stitch. A lot of people don't like it. I love square stitch. Oh, it's lovely. And I got that one, the Frosted Fir Tree. Again, I think this had a couple of other colourways, but I've gone for the green and the white one. So my plan is when I finish this one, I'm going to do one of these because I need to break that up because it's very repetitive, which is fine, but it does get a bit boring, to be fair. So while we were in Lichfield, there is a shop there that is, the front half of the shop is artists, so it's paints, canvases, all of that kind of stuff, and at the back of the shop there is a stitching bit. We always go and have a nosy, and we've probably seen this before and never registered it, but I bought myself this, obviously for the sunflower. I'll probably only stitch the centre, which they've done on the back and turned into a little pillow. So I bought myself that. And we were told, we didn't know, that there was a fabric shop also in Lichfield, a little bit further down from where the art and needle workshop was. So we wandered down and we had a look. Now, for me, it was a great little shop. She had a really nice range of fabrics, but she was expensive. She had fabrics in there that I can remember buying 10 years ago, and I would buy more, but I didn't pay £20 a metre everything was £20 a metre. These fabrics, when I originally bought them, were about £12 a metre. As much as I love them and would like to buy more, I am not prepared to pay £20 a metre. And don't get me wrong, I know fabric is expensive, but that was a bit too much, even though they would make really nice bags. But I did buy half a metre. Was it half a metre? Well, anyway, I bought this. I'm going to make myself a project bag out of this, and then I think the any leftover, kind of got to really, haven't I? Any that's left over, I might make something for one of my grandsons who is giraffe mad. See if I can make him a pencil case or something like that for school. And then, last but not least, my Silks for You came. My monthly Silks for You. So, there we go. These arrived Friday morning, I think. So we have PR161, sort of a variegated greys. We have PR43, which is slightly variegated but a dark grey. We have PR212, which is greys and browns. Should do it like, there we go, greys and browns. And we have PR120, which is sort of stonework colour. To me, that's stonework. There we go. That's it. I think I'm all done. Oh, they always come in a nice organza bag. It's arrived a bit earlier. Normally it arrives a lot later than this. Let me just double check my list. Yeah, I've done everything. So, as I say, next one should be 27th of June. Rosie's looking at me. Rosie's sitting on my footstool, the other side of the table that you're on, and she's looking at me going, "You're talking to yourself again." She's settled down again now. Yeah, 27th of June. Until then, take care of yourself and happy stitching. Bye.